notorious band that had fear looming over thousands of people during the 1860s, raiding cities like Kansas City, Independence, Olathe, and Lawrence while killing every boy and every man that could hold a gun.
My name is Jason Rowe. I'm the digital history specialist at the Kansas City Public Library, and I am a historian of United States history. I worked on the Civil War and several other projects relating to Kansas City.
Quantro's raiders were most feared because of their brutal war tactics and guerrilla warfare. They would show no mercy to their enemies. Quantro, the group's leader, is one not to forget. His actual name is William Clark Quantro, and he was born on July 31st, 1837, in Canal Dover, Ohio. Before being a bushwhacker, he was also a Free State believer who worked as a school teacher in Ohio, where then he moved to Lawrence, Kansas, where he also taught. He eventually moved to Missouri on December 10, 1860. Quaker abolitionists who freed slaves around the area invited Clark to help them free slaves from someone named Morgan Walker, but in a random act, he warned Walker of the oncoming threat. Since Morgan was already waiting for the Quakers, they were quickly ambushed and killed. After, he turned into a bushwhacker where he joined a group that would lure around catching escaped slaves around Kansas and Missouri. Later on, that group went on to form what we know as Quantro's Raiders.
The Bushwhackers were, I guess they would be considered irregulars, and so they kind of operated loosely under the partisan Ranger Act.
By the 1860s, they had over 200 men, and by 1862, they had already raided and killed hundreds. Some of the most well-known members of the band were William T. Anderson, best known as Bloody Bill Anderson, who was born around 1839 in Hopkins County, Kentucky, later dying to a bullet to the head on October 26, 1864. Jesse James, who was born on September 5, 1847, later dying on April 3, 1882. Also, Frank James, who was born on January 10, 1843, then dying on February 14, 1915. Cole Younger, who was born on January 15, 1844, then dying on March 21, 1960. And of course, William Clark Quantro. But these men weren't doing this by themselves. Their families were giving them food, clothes, and other essentials to survive. This is one of the sole reasons why on February 4th, 1836, General Order No. 10 was put into place to punish those who helped/aided bushwhackers. This led to the arrest of multiple women who were assisting the bushwhackers. They got sent to a makeshift jail in Kansas City, MO, when on August 14, 1836, the jail collapsed. 4 of the women in those deaths, Josephine Anderson, Buddy Bill Anderson, was killed. Others like Mary Ellen and Janie were seriously injured. When the bushwhackers heard about the news of what happened to the makeshift jail, they were infuriated. They thought that the collapse of the prison was intentional, so they made a plan to come back. So on August 21st, 1836, they rode into Lawrence, Kansas, where they burned and massacred the town. This was known as Lawrence Massacre. They shot and killed every man and boy who was old enough to hold a gun, killing over 160 to 190 boys and men. Due to that, General Order No. 11 was put into action, forcing people who lived in Jackson, Bates, and Cass County to leave their homes for 15 days because of the violence that was happening around the area. To stay, you had to swear loyalty to the Union before the 15 days were over, and you would get a certificate that permitted you to stay in your home.